The hall of the Galactic Council was built to impress. It was wide like a stadium. It was tall like a mountain. Light flowed over golden walls. Flags of 100 worlds hung in the air, moving gently without wind. Every seat was filled. Some leaders had horns, some had wings, some had eyes like glass. Some had no faces at all, only masks of metal and moving symbols. Their guards stood behind them, still and proud. At the center, above everyone, a huge screen waited. Tonight was not about peace talks. It was not about trade. Tonight was about a small planet, a young species, a species called humans. They came from a quiet world named Earth. The Council had watched Earth for years. They saw humans fight each other. They saw them build, fail, and build again. They saw them send small ships into their own space. They saw their radio signals, their music, their dramas, their anger. The galaxy had a rule. A simple rule. When a young species steps into the wider space lanes, the Council decides what happens next. Some worlds were welcomed, some were controlled, some were removed. Earth had just crossed that line. A tall alien with long arms stood and tapped the floor with a staff. His skin was smooth and pale blue. His voice was loud and clean. Council members, he said, the topic is Earth. The humans have reached the outer gates. They have built engines that can enter shared lanes. They have built weapons that can strike beyond their moons. A few leaders laughed. One leader, heavy and red, leaned back and made a rough sound that passed for humor. Weapons, he said, from a world that still burns oil and argues on screens. More laughter. Another leader, thin and sharp, lifted one claw. They are loud, she said. They fight each other over small things. They will break under pressure. A third leader, covered in dark plates, spoke in a slow voice. They have no true allies. Their closest worlds do not trust them. Their own history is full of blood. The blue-skinned speaker nodded. Yes, but they also learn fast. They adapt, they survive, and they have asked for Council contact. A ripple of talk moved through the hall. Contact meant one thing: Earth was ready to speak. The huge screen turned on. At first there was only static. Then the static formed lines. Then the lines formed shapes. Then the shapes became an image. A human appeared. Not a warrior, not a king. Just a person, a woman in a simple uniform, dark hair tied back, calm eyes, no smile, no anger, just control. Behind her was a plain wall with a small symbol. It looked like a blue circle with white shapes. Earth's mark. The hall became quiet. The woman looked straight into the camera as if she could see every leader at once. Her voice was steady. This is Commander Mara Voss of Earth Defense, she said. This message is for the Galactic Council. Some leaders leaned forward, others leaned back as if bored. Commander Voss continued. Earth has received Council signals. Earth understands the rules of the lanes. Earth does not seek conflict. A few leaders exchanged looks. They are afraid, some thought. Good. Then she said something that did not match her calm face. Earth issues a warning. The hall shifted. Some leaders sat up. The commander's voice stayed simple and even. We have seen the fleet patterns near our border. We have seen the scouts. We have seen your probes. The blue-skinned speaker blinked. The Council had not expected that. Their scouts were meant to be invisible. Commander Voss went on. You are measuring our strength. You are deciding if you can take our worlds. A leader with a crown of crystals chuckled softly. Bold little creature, he whispered. Commander Voss did not pause. Earth asks one last time, she said. Do not cross our space. A strong leader near the front snorted. Their space, they do not own the lane borders. Commander Voss lifted one hand slightly like a teacher asking for silence. Humans are new to this council, she said, but humans are not new to war. That line landed like a stone in water. Some leaders smiled, some rolled their eyes. Commander Voss continued. When humans were still limited to our own world, we fought each other for thousands of years. We learned what fear does. We learned what hate does. We learned what loss does. The council listened, but not with respect. They listened like someone watching a small animal bark. A warlord from the Iron Rift raised his voice. So you admit you are violent, he said. Then you will be controlled. Commander Voss looked straight ahead. You misunderstand. Her tone did not change, but something inside the words felt colder. Humans do not want war, she said. Humans know what war costs. Some leaders nodded, thinking that sounded like weakness. Then she said the next line. Humans learned restraint. The hall was quiet again. Restraint was not common in the galaxy. Most species grew stronger by taking, by crushing, by showing force early. Commander Voss spoke like she was reading a list. Earth has weapons you have not seen, she said. Not because we cannot show them, because we chose not to. A few leaders laughed again, but the laughter was smaller now. The commander continued. Earth has systems you have not measured. Earth has fleets you have not counted. The blue-skinned speaker frowned. He had been sure Earth was behind. Earth had fewer ships, less territory, less experience. Commander Voss lifted her chin slightly. We did not build for your kind, she said. We built for what comes after you. That line made several leaders glance at each other. What comes after, they wondered. Commander Voss did not explain. Earth has met threats in silence, she said. Earth has faced extinction more than once, and every time humans returned. A leader with many eyes spoke softly to his neighbor. That is not possible. No species returns from extinction. His neighbor answered, unless they are stubborn. Commander Voss kept talking. The council will decide what to do, she said, but Earth will decide what it allows. That was not a request. That was a boundary. The Crystal Crown leader laughed louder now, trying to bring back the old mood. You are a single world, he said. We are the galaxy. Commander Voss did not react. Earth does not want your galaxy, she said. Earth wants safety. Her eyes stayed calm. Do not mistake calm for fear. Some leaders felt a strange discomfort, not because the human seemed strong, but because she seemed prepared, too prepared. Then the commander gave the final part of the message. Earth is held back, she said. The words were simple, but they carried weight. Humans held back when fighting each other, she continued, because if we did not, we would have ended ourselves. Several leaders paused. That was not normal. Most species did not limit themselves in civil wars. They ended the week and moved on. Commander Voss looked into the camera. Now humans are united, she said, and we can direct that power outward. A silence spread across the hall like a shadow. The warlord from the Iron Rift leaned forward. His voice was sharp. Are you threatening the council? Commander Voss answered without emotion. We are warning you. She lifted a small device into view. It was thin like a coin. It had no lights. This is a signal key, she said. If you cross our border, this key will unlock a set of protocols. The blue-skinned speaker narrowed his eyes. What protocols? Commander Voss paused for the first time, only one breath. Then she said, limit removal. The hall reacted. Some leaders whispered, some laughed again, some looked annoyed, but only a few stayed very still. They knew that words like limit removal were not used by weak species. Weak species did not talk like that. Weak species begged. Weak species offered tribute. Commander Voss continued. Earth asks for one thing, she said. Leave our space. Stop your scouts, stop your fleets. The Crystal Crown leader raised both hands in mock peace. And if we do not, Commander Voss stared at him through the screen. Her face did not change. Then Earth will respond, she said. The warlord leaned back and smiled. Good, he said. Finally, honesty. Commander Voss did not smile back. Earth will respond without mercy, she said. That line hit harder than the others, not because it was loud, because it was calm, without mercy. Not in rage, not in panic, like a rule. Commander Voss ended the message with a final sentence. We were holding back, she said. Do not force us to stop. The screen went dark. For one full second, nobody spoke. Then the hall exploded into voices. They are bluffing. They are trying to scare us. A single world cannot stand against the Rift fleets. They have no idea what real war is. The Crystal Crown leader stood and raised his arms, gathering attention. Enough, he said. We have heard the little human. Laughter returned louder now because leaders wanted to feel in control again. Earth is proud, the Crystal Crown leader continued. Good, pride makes conquest easier. The warlord from the Iron Rift slammed his fist on his desk. I will take their border stations, he said. I will break their spirit, then the council can decide the rest. Many leaders nodded. The blue-skinned speaker hesitated. Council, he said carefully. Their scouts detected ours. That should not be possible. The warlord waved him off. They got lucky. The speaker tried again. Their message was too calm. The Crystal Crown leader smiled. Calm as a mask. They fear us. They just do not want to show it. Some leaders agreed, some did not. Near the back, an old leader with a scarred face whispered to his guard. A calm warning is worse than a loud one. His guard asked, why? The old leader answered, because it means the sender already accepted the outcome. Across the hall, the warlord began shouting orders into a device. His fleet would move at dawn cycle. His ships would cross the border. His guns would speak. The council would watch. They would enjoy the lesson. Far away in human space, Commander Mara Voss stood in a quiet room. The wall behind her was the same plain wall from the message. No cheering, no applause, only silence. Around her, human officers watched the council feed end. One officer spoke. They laughed. Mara Voss nodded once. Yes. Another officer asked, so they will come? Mara looked down at a small console. A single button waited under a clear cover. It was labeled with a simple phrase, limit. She did not touch it. Not yet. She spoke in a low voice, calm like the message. They will cross the line, she said. A younger officer swallowed. Then what? Mara Voss looked at the stars on the screen. Her face stayed still, but her eyes were heavy. Then she said, Earth stops asking. She turned to the room's main channel. Her voice went through the base, through the ships, through the deep stations hidden in dark space. Attention all command levels, she said. Border breach is expected. A pause, then she added the line that no one outside Earth had heard yet. Permission to remove limits pending. The room fell silent again. Not the silence of fear. The silence of a door about to open. And somewhere beyond the border, the first alien fleet began to move. They thought they were going to teach a young world its place. They did not know they were walking toward a warning that had already ended. The alien fleet moved in perfect order. Hundreds of ships cut through the dark like sharp knives. Their hulls were black and red, marked with the symbol of the Iron Rift. They were built for one purpose only, war. Heavy guns lined their sides. Energy cores burned bright inside them. The fleet commander, Lord Karvek, stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was tall, wide, and covered in thick armor plates that grew from his skin. His eyes glowed a dull orange. He felt no fear. Ahead of them lay human space. Confirm borderline, Karvek said. A navigator answered, confirmed. One more jump. Karvek smiled. Good. Today the galaxy learns that humans are nothing special. Around him, officers shared the mood. They had crushed dozens of young species before. Loud warnings always came first. Real power came later. The fleet jumped, space folded, then unfolded. They arrived inside the outer human border. Nothing happened, no alarms, no weapons fire, no message. Only stars, cold and quiet. Carvex frowned. Scan the area. Scans active, an officer replied. We see a small station ahead, light armor, minimal weapons. A human border station. It floated alone near a gas cloud, simple shape, no escort ships. Carvex laughed. That's it, that's their line. He turned to his weapons chief. Fire. The flagship's main gun charged, energy built up, then a beam of red light cut through space. The human station vanished in a flash, debris spread like dust, cheers filled the bridge. That was too easy, an officer said. Carvex nodded. Send the footage to the council. The fleet moved forward, deeper into human space. Still nothing, no human ships, no warnings, no response. That's strange, a sensor officer said. No counter signals, no distress calls. Carvex waved him off. They are afraid, their leaders are frozen. The fleet reached the next target, a human colony moon. It was small, covered in lights. Civilian traffic moved slowly around it. Carvex studied the image. A good lesson, he said, not total destruction, just enough. He raised his claw, disable power, then leave. The order was carried out. Missiles struck the moon's power network, lights went out, cities fell into darkness. Millions of humans were left without energy, still no response. On the bridge, the cheering stopped. Commander, an officer said slowly, I still detect no panic signals. Carvex's smile faded. Impossible, any species would scream by now. Unless, another officer said quietly, they expected this. Carvex turned sharply. Explain, the officer hesitated. Their evacuation ships, they were already gone. The bridge fell silent. Gone, Carvex asked. Yes, the officer said. Civilian ships left hours ago before we arrived. Carvex's eyes narrowed. How would they know? No one answered. Far away on Earth, Commander Mara Voss stood in a different room than before. This one was large and dark. A massive star map filled the air, showing human space in soft blue light. Red marks appeared as the alien fleet advanced. Officers spoke quietly around her. Border station lost, one said. Colony moon disabled, another reported. Mara nodded once. Civilian casualties, none, the officer replied. Evacuation complete. Mara's jaw tightened for just a moment. Good, she said. A young officer looked at her. They crossed the line. Yes, Mara answered. They did. Her eyes moved to the red marks. They were spreading like an infection. Why are we still silent? The officer asked. Mara did not answer right away. She remembered Earth's past. Old wars, panic, leaders shouting, cities burning because someone reacted too fast. Humans had learned silence could be a weapon. Because, Mara said finally, they need to believe we are weak. Back in alien space, the Galactic Council watched the live feed. Asteroid station replayed again and again. Laughter echoed through the hall. The human border fell in seconds. The Crystal Crown leader said, so much for restraint. The warlord Carvex appeared on the main screen. His armor was marked with fresh symbols of victory. Council, he said proudly, human defenses are minimal, no response so far. Applause spread. One leader asked, any resistance? Carvex shook his head. None. The blue-skinned speaker leaned forward. No response at all. Carvex snorted, fear or confusion. The speaker looked uneasy or planning. The Crystal Crown leader waved dismissively. Enough caution, continue the advance. Carvex bowed slightly. As you command, the feed ended. Only one leader did not clap, the old scarred one from the back. He watched in silence. To his guard he whispered, still no scream. The guard did not like the sound of that. The alien fleet pushed on. They reached a human shipyard next. Large structures floated in space, half-built ships resting in docks. Carvex felt satisfaction. Destroy the yard. Weapons fired, explosions filled space, but something was wrong. Commander, a sensor officer said, voice tense, the ships, they are empty. Carvex growled, empty, no crews, no power cores, these are shells. Carvex slammed a claw into the console. Then where are their real ships? No one answered. At that moment, alarms sounded. A sharp, unfamiliar tone. Commander, the sensor officer shouted, we are being scanned. Carvex laughed. Finally, lock on. The officer shook his head. Sir, the scan is not coming from one direction. Carvex froze. Explain, it's coming from everywhere. The bridge lights flickered. For half a second, the stars seemed to shift. Then everything went back to normal. The alarms stopped. Silence. What was that? Carvex demanded. We don't know. The officer said, the scan is gone. Carvex forced himself to stand tall. Tricks, nothing more, but his confidence cracked. Back on Earth, an officer spoke urgently. They felt the net. Mara Voss closed her eyes for a moment. Good, that means it's working. Another officer asked, do we proceed to phase 2? Mara looked at the button again. Limits, not yet, she said. They have not reached the lesson point. Commander, a strategist said. They are destroying symbolic targets. They want us to react. Mara nodded. Let them. She turned to the room. Humanity does not answer pain with panic. We answer with choice. The alien fleet moved deeper. Then the first ship disappeared. No explosion, no warning. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. Commander, an officer shouted, Ship 12 is missing. Carvex stared at the display. Missing how? No debris, no energy trace. Another alarm rang. Another. Ship 19 gone. Ship 22 gone. Carvex felt heat rise in his chest. Find the attacker, we can't, the officer replied, there is nothing to lock onto. Fear crept into the bridge, then a human message appeared on every screen, not Commander Voss, just text, you are still in human space. Carvex roared, show yourselves, the message changed, we asked you to leave. Carvex ordered full weapons spread, ships fired in all directions, nothing hit. Then the message changed again, this is not our response. Carvex's eyes widened. Around the fleet, space began to ripple, invisible forces pulled at ships, engines failed, navigation systems went dark. Commander and officer screamed. We can't jump. Carvex realized the truth too late. This was not an attack, it was containment. On Earth, Mara Voss watched the red mark stop moving. An officer whispered, they are trapped. Mara nodded slowly. She pressed a different control, not the limits button. A simple switch labeled, contact a new channel opened. Mara spoke calmly, her voice carrying into the trapped fleet. Lord Carvex, she said, you are no longer advancing. Carvex heard her voice echo through his bridge, calm, clear, release us, he snarled. Mara answered, no, you will die here, Carvex said. Mara replied, that depends on you. She paused. You attacked empty stations, she said. You hurt no civilians, that was wise. Carvex said nothing. Mara continued, this is your last chance to turn back. Carvex felt the weight of the moment. Pride fought fear inside him. The council was watching. He straightened. We do not retreat from prey. Mara's voice did not change. Then you are not prey, she said. You are an example. The channel closed. Back on Earth, officers waited. Mara Voss looked once more at the limits button. Still untouched. She spoke softly, almost to herself. They still think this is war. Outside in silent space, the trapped alien fleet struggled against forces they could not see, against rules they did not understand. And far away, the galaxy continued to laugh. For now the alien fleet was silent. Not calm silence, forced silence. Lord Carvex stood on the bridge of his flagship, surrounded by officers who no longer looked confident. Screens showed frozen stars. Engines refused commands. Weapons powered up, then shut down on their own. They were trapped. This is impossible, Carvex growled. No net can hold iron rift ships. A technician answered with fear in his voice. Sir, this is not a net, it's a field. It bends space itself. Carvex turned sharply. Break it. We can't, the technician said. It adapts to every test. Carvex clenched his fists. He had crushed worlds. He had broken fleets. He had never been stopped like this, without a single shot fired. On another screen, human space looked empty, too empty. Where are their ships? Carvex demanded. They cannot hide forever. No one answered. Far away, the Galactic Council watched the situation change. The laughter was gone. The live feed showed the Iron Rift fleet frozen in space, unable to move forward or back. The Crystal Crown leader leaned forward. Why have they stopped? A council analyst spoke carefully. They are not stopped by damage. They are contained. Murmurs filled the hall. That technology does not exist, one leader said. The blue-skinned speaker replied slowly, it does now. The old scarred leader at the back closed his eyes. The humans have not attacked yet, he said. That should worry you. The Crystal Crown leader waved his hand. They are stalling. Fear takes strange forms, but his voice lacked strength. Back in the trapped fleet. Alarms rang again. A single point of light appeared ahead. Just one, it grew larger. Commander and officer whispered, something is approaching. Carvex straightened. Identify. The scanner struggled, then locked. The officer swallowed. One ship. Carvex laughed sharply. One? Yes, sir. The ship came into view. It was not large. It was not covered in weapons. It was smooth, dark, and simple. No markings, no glowing symbols, no visible engines. It drifted forward slowly, like it had all the time in the universe. Carvex stared. That's their response. The ship stopped just outside weapon range. A human signal opened automatically. Commander Mara Voss appeared on the screen again. Same calm face, same steady eyes. This is a human defense vessel, she said. Designation, quiet resolve. Carvex sneered. You send one ship against a fleet. Mara answered no. Carvex leaned forward. Then what is this? Mara replied, a conversation. Some of Carvex's officers shifted uneasily. You are trapped, Carvex said. Your ship will die. Mara shook her head once. No, the human ship did not raise weapons. It did not move. It simply existed. Carvex barked an order. Fire. Weapon systems tried to lock. They failed. Commander and officer shouted, our weapons cannot target it. Carvex slammed a claw into the console. Manual fire. Energy cannons discharged blindly. The beams crossed space and vanished. They did not hit the human ship. They did not even reach it. They bent, curved, and faded as if swallowed. Silence returned. Mara spoke calmly. You are witnessing basic human defense doctrine. Carvex's voice cracked with rage. You call this basic? Yes, Mara said, because we designed it early. Carvex realized something terrible. This ship was not afraid. It was not careful. It was waiting. Enough, Carvex snarled. Destroy it. The human ship finally moved, just a little. A soft hum filled space. One small light appeared on its surface. Then a single pulse was released, not bright, not loud. It touched the nearest alien ship. That ship did not explode. It did not burn. It simply stopped. All systems went dark. It drifted lifelessly. Report, Carvex shouted. No power, an officer said in shock. No recovery. Another pulse. Another ship went dark, then another, slow, precise, merciless. The human ship did not rush, it took its time. Carvex felt fear grip him. This is not battle, he whispered. This is execution. Mara's voice returned. Incorrect, this is restraint. The human ship stopped firing. Half the fleet was powerless but intact. Mara continued, if we remove limits, none of you survive. Carvex's pride shattered. He saw the truth clearly now. The humans had not been hiding. They had been waiting to see who would cross the line. Back on the Galactic Council floor, chaos erupted. They are disabling ships without destroying them. That tech violates council law. The blue-skinned speaker stood, so does invasion. The Crystal Crown leader stood as well, but his voice shook. Order, we demand answers. The feed zoomed in on the human ship and Mara Voss's face. A council member shouted, human commander, identify your weapon. Mara looked directly at the council feed. This is not a weapon, she said. It is a safety measure. The hall fell silent. A safety measure? Someone whispered. Mara continued. Humans learned long ago that killing is easy, control is harder. She gestured slightly and the feed showed alien ships drifting, silent and helpless. This is us holding back, she said. The old scarred leader bowed his head. By the void, Carvex opened a private channel. His voice was low now. Broken, what do you want? Mara answered, your retreat. Carvex hesitated, then slowly, we cannot move. Mara replied, we will release you. Carvex looked up sharply, but she added, you will leave human space and never return. Carvex swallowed. His fleet was crippled, his reputation was gone, but his people would live. I accept, he said quietly. Mara nodded once. Wise. She ended the channel. On Earth, officers watched as systems shifted. Releasing containment, one announced. The invisible field loosened. Alien engines flickered back to life. Carvex did not wait. Retreat, he ordered. All ships. The fleet fled, not in glory, in silence. The human ship did not chase, it simply watched. Back in the council hall, no one spoke. The Crystal Crown leader sank back into his seat. The blue-skinned speaker broke the silence. They stopped an invasion with one ship, and they still didn't remove limits. Someone whispered. The old scarred leader stood slowly. The humans warned us, he said, and we laughed. On Earth, Mara Voss finally allowed herself to sit. A young officer asked, is it over? Mara shook her head. No, she looked at the stars. They have learned we are strong, she said. Next, they will learn why. Her eyes returned to the button under the clear cover, limits still untouched. But the galaxy no longer laughed. Somewhere, fear was growing. And fear spreads faster than war. The galaxy did not sleep that night. In every system, on every world, people watched the same clips again and again. A fleet of the Iron Rift, one of the strongest forces in known space, had crossed into human territory. And then one human ship appeared. One ship. It did not chase. It did not shout. It did not burn cities or destroy planets. It only reached out like a calm hand and turned enemy ships into dead metal. No explosion. No warning sirens. Just silence. The Iron Rift fleet escaped, but it escaped in shame. For the first time in a long time, the Galactic Council did not speak like rulers. They spoke like people who had made a mistake. Inside the council hall, leaders argued in low, tense voices. The Crystal Crown leader stood at the center, trying to force control back into the room. This is a trick, he insisted. A single display, a staged event. But his words no longer carried weight. The blue-skinned speaker stepped forward. His hands were tight around his staff. Lord Carvex retreated, he said. He confirmed containment. He confirmed his weapons could not lock. This was real. A leader with sharp fins hissed. No young species has that level of space control. The blue-skinned speaker answered, then Earth is not a normal young species. Murmurs spread. The old scarred leader rose slowly from the back row. He did not ask for permission. He simply spoke. And the room quieted. We are asking the wrong question, he said. The Crystal Crown leader frowned. And what question should we ask? The scarred leader's voice was rough like stone dragged across stone. Not how strong are humans, he said. The real question is, what were they preparing for? Silence. The words hung in the air because everyone knew the truth of the galaxy. The strongest weapons were never built for small wars. They were built for nightmares on Earth. Commander Mara Voss stood in the deep command level under the surface. The room was wide and dark, lit by clean, soft screens. The air smelled like metal and cold coffee. Around her stood the highest human officers, fleet commanders, intelligence heads, system engineers. They all looked tired, not from fear, from focus. An officer spoke first. The council is unstable. They are confused. Mara nodded. Good. Another officer asked, do we reveal more? Mara's eyes stayed on the main screen. It showed the border area now clear. The alien fleet had fled. Human space looked peaceful again, peaceful on the surface. But behind that peace, humanity was moving pieces on a board no one else could see. Mara answered, not yet. A strategist stepped forward. They will send probes, spies, hackers. Mara nodded. Let them try. A younger officer looked unsure. Commander, we embarrassed them. They will want revenge. Mara's face stayed calm, but her voice became colder. We did not embarrass them, she said. We spared them. They should be grateful. No one argued. Mara turned to a secured console and typed a code. A new file opened on the main screen. It was not a battle plan. It was a history file. The title was simple. Why We Hold Back. Mara looked around the room. You all know our history, she said. But the galaxy does not, and soon we may need to show them. An older officer, Admiral Reyes, stepped closer. His hair was gray, his eyes were heavy. They will not understand, he said. Mara replied, they will when they see the reason. She pressed a key, the screen changed. It showed Earth long ago covered in smoke, cities in ruins, people running, old weapons firing. The image was not dramatic, it was not edited for emotion, it was raw truth. Mara spoke softly, almost like a teacher. Humans did not become strong because we wanted to, she said. We became strong because we had to. The next clip showed the same planet years later, humans rebuilding, building faster, smarter. Then another clip worse, nuclear fire, bright and white, a shockwave eating a city. Officers in the room watched in silence. They had seen this before, but it still hurt. Mara continued. We learned early that anger is not power, anger is a weakness. It makes you waste your strength. The screen showed a human soldier holding a wounded enemy, giving water. Then a different scene showed the same soldier firing without hesitation when threatened. Mara pointed. We learned balance, mercy when possible, violence when needed. The file jumped forward in time, the first human ships leaving Earth, the first colonies, the first alien signals, and then something else. The screen showed deep space. A dark shape, not a ship, not a moon. A moving shadow that did not match any known pattern. The room grew colder. Even the young officer stopped breathing for a moment. Admiral Reyes spoke quietly. The first contact that wasn't the council. Mara nodded. The first real threat, she said. The screen showed a sensor report from decades ago. It was marked with red symbols. A code name appeared. The silent swarm. A younger officer asked, voice low, are we sure it was real? Mara looked at him. We lost 3 deep stations, she said. We lost 2 science ships, no bodies, no debris, only empty space. The room stayed silent. Mara continued. It did not speak, it did not warn, it did not negotiate. She paused, it only removed. The screen showed a map of human space. Small lights went dark, gone. Then the map changed again. A human fleet appeared from nowhere surrounding an invisible point. Weapons fired, not bright beams. Not loud blasts, soft pulses. Containment fields, the same kind that trapped Carvix's fleet. The next clip showed a huge object slowly becoming visible like fog turning into steel. It was shaped like a cluster of needles and mouths. Then it collapsed in on itself, forced into a tight point and erased. Mara's voice stayed steady, but her eyes were hard. We survived, she said, not because we were stronger then. She looked around. Because we learned to hold back until the moment mattered. Admiral Reyes nodded slowly. We built the limit system after that. Yes, Mara said, because we saw ourselves. The officers looked confused. Mara explained. Humans are dangerous, she said, not because we enjoy violence. She tapped the screen because when we are pushed, we do not stop. A long silence followed. Everyone in that room knew it was true. Humans could forgive. Humans could be patient. But if a line was crossed and the switch flipped, humans became something else. A strategist asked, Commander, do we tell the council about the silent swarm? Mara shook her head, not yet. Why? The strategist pressed. Mara's answer was simple. Because fear makes fools, she said, and fools start wars. Back at the Galactic Council, the leaders had moved from arguing to planning. A new idea spread like poison. If humans had this power, then humans must be controlled. The Crystal Crown leader called for a private meeting with the strongest members. A small group sat around a smaller table, closer, darker, more dangerous. We cannot allow Earth to set new rules, he said. If other young species learn this, our authority ends. A Finn leader asked, then what do we do? The Crystal Crown leader smiled, but there was fear behind it. We force them to reveal everything. He said, we push them until they show their true limits. The blue-skinned speaker's voice sharpened. That is exactly what they warned us not to do. The Crystal Crown leader snapped. Warnings are made to be tested. The old scarred leader stepped forward, his eyes like tired fire. You are planning to poke a sleeping beast, he said. The Crystal Crown leader raised his chin. And you are planning to bow. I am planning to survive, the scarred leader replied. But the meeting had already turned. Pride was winning again. Back on Earth, Mara received new intelligence. A calm voice read the report. Multiple council systems have launched stealth probes. They are mapping our deep networks. Mara nodded, expected. Another report followed. A second fleet is gathering, not Iron Rift alone, combined forces. Admiral Reyes' face tightened. They are building a coalition. Mara's eyes did not move. Of course they are, she said. A younger officer asked, do we strike first? Mara replied instantly. No, the officer looked surprised. Mara spoke slowly, making sure every word landed. If we strike first, we become the monster they want us to be, she said. We do not give them that. She walked to the center console. The clear cover over the limits button reflected the room's light. She did not touch it. Instead, she opened a new channel. A message began to build. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a truth. The message was sent to every council world at once. In the council hall, alarms rang. Leaders looked up as their personal screens flashed. The message displayed only a few lines, simple and direct. Earth does not seek control. Earth seeks safety. We were holding back because we had to. Do not force us to stop. The Crystal Crown leader read it and clenched his jaw. The blue-skinned speaker read it and looked away as if ashamed. The old scarred leader read it and whispered, too late. Because even as that message traveled, the coalition fleet was already forming in secret. They were not coming to test the border. They were coming to end the human problem forever. And somewhere deep in human space, far from Earth, in a quiet black region where no trade lanes ran, dark sensors woke up. They detected movement, not council ships, not Iron Rift ships, something older, something silent. A small warning light appeared on Mara Voss's private screen. It carried a code she had not seen in years. Swarm pattern, possible return. Mara stared at it. For the first time, her calm expression cracked only slightly. Not fear, recognition. She turned to Admiral Reyes. "They are gathering fleets," she said. Reyes nodded. "Yes." Mara's voice became a whisper. "And the real enemy may be waking up." She looked at the limits button again. For years, it was a promise to themselves. A leash. A lock. Now it felt like a countdown. Outside, the galaxy was moving toward a war it thought it could win. And in the dark, something else was moving too. Something that did not care about pride. Something that only cared about hunger. The coalition fleet did not announce itself. It did not send warnings. It did not ask for talks. Thousands of ships moved together in silence, drawn from many worlds. Old rivals flew side by side. Different designs, different weapons. One shared goal: end the human threat. From a distance, the fleet looked like a moving storm. Engines burned blue, green, and red. Heavy carriers formed the center. Fast attack ships spread wide like claws. At the heart of the fleet, the Crystal Crown leader stood on his command bridge. His crown glowed faintly as he watched the stars ahead. Human space in 2 cycles, an officer reported. The leader nodded. No hesitation. No retreat. Another officer asked, "What about the council vote?" The Crystal Crown leader's voice was sharp. "History does not remember votes, it remembers winners." Across the fleet, weapons charged. They believed this would be fast. They believed humans had already shown their best trick. They were wrong. Deep inside Earth's command level, the room was silent, too silent. Commander Mara Voss stood alone at the center console. Around her, officers waited for orders they already understood but did not want to hear. The main screen showed the coalition fleet in full detail. "So many," a young officer whispered. Mara nodded. "Yes." Admiral Reyes stepped beside her. "They are not here to scare us." "No," Mara said. "They are here to erase us." She looked around the room. "Everyone here knows the protocol," she said. "Once this begins, there is no pause." No one spoke. Mara reached for the clear cover. The limits button waited beneath it. Human history pressed down on that moment. Every war, every city lost, every lesson learned the hard way. Mara took a breath, not for courage, for control. She lifted the cover. A soft tone sounded. Every human system across space responded. Hidden fleets powered up. Dark stations woke from silence. Weapons long buried beneath moons and inside asteroids unlocked. Across human space, a single phrase moved through secure channels. Limits removed. Nothing exploded. Nothing dramatic happened, but the universe changed. At the edge of human space, the coalition fleet crossed the border. Immediately, their sensors screamed. Multiple contacts, an officer shouted. Everywhere, the Crystal Crown leader stepped forward. Form battle lines. Too late. Human ships appeared, not from one direction, from all directions. They did not jump in with bright flashes. They unfolded from space itself, as if reality had been holding them back. Thousands of human vessels. Silent, dark, perfectly aligned. The coalition fleet hesitated. That single moment was all humans needed. "Fire," Mara Voss said calmly. Human weapons activated. Not wild, not angry, precise. Coalition frontline ships vanished, not destroyed, but removed, folded into nothing by weapons that rewrote space around them. Carriers split open. Their internal gravity reversed, crushing crews without fire or sound. Command ships lost control as their systems were overwritten by human code written faster than thought. The coalition fleet tried to respond. Their weapons fired. Human defenses bent the attacks away, absorbed them, or simply ignored them. "This is impossible," an alien commander screamed. "No," another whispered. "This is planned." Back on the Crystal Crown leader's bridge, panic spread. "They're not targeting civilians," an officer said. "Only military assets." The leader clenched his fists. "They are sending a message." "Yes," the officer replied, "and it's clear." Human fleets moved with terrible beauty. No wasted motion, no pursuit beyond necessity. If a ship surrendered, it was disabled. If it resisted, it was erased. Across the galaxy, live feeds spread again. But this time, no one laughed. Worlds watched in horror as the coalition, formed to protect order, collapsed in hours. The old scarred leader watched from the council hall, tears forming in his damaged eyes. "They warned us," he whispered. "They warned us." A council aide asked, "Should we call for peace?" The scarred leader shook his head slowly. "Peace is no longer ours to offer," he said. In the middle of the battlefield, something else shifted. Human deep sensors flared red. An alert reached Mara's private channel. Swarm signature confirmed. Mara's eyes hardened. Admiral Reyes noticed. "It's them, isn't it?" "Yes," Mara said. "The silent swarm." "Here," Reyes asked. "Drawn by the energy," she replied. "By the war." As if summoned by the violence, space tore open at the far edge of the battlefield, not with light, with absence. Coalition and human sensors struggled as massive shapes began to appear, organic, shifting, wrong. The silent swarm had returned. Coalition ships panicked. "What are those things?" Human fleets adjusted instantly. A new command moved through human channels. Priority shift, swarm human ships changed formation, placing themselves between the swarm and the retreating coalition. The Crystal Crown leader stared at the feed. They're protecting us. On Earth, Mara spoke quietly. No, she watched the swarm move. We are protecting the galaxy. The silent swarm did not communicate. It rushed forward, feeding on energy. Matter motion, coalition ships were torn apart, consumed, silenced. Then the swarm hit the human line and stopped. Human containment fields locked around swarm clusters. Weapons designed long ago, never meant for council wars, activated fully. This was why humans held back. This was what the limits were for. Mara gave one final order. Clean it. Human fleets closed in, space twisted. The swarm screamed, not in sound, but in signal, before collapsing into nothing. When it was over, the battlefield was empty. No swarm, no coalition fleet. Only human ships, still and silent. Across the galaxy, worlds stared at dark screens. The Crystal Crown leader sank to his knees. We tried to destroy them, he whispered, and they saved us. On Earth, Mara Voss finally pressed another control. Limits engaged, the leash returned. The storm passed. Human ships powered down. They did not chase survivors. They did not claim territory. They simply withdrew. A final message appeared across every council world. Simple, clear. Earth does not rule you. Earth will defend the galaxy, but never mistake our restraint for weakness. In the quiet after the war, the galaxy understood a new truth. Humanity was not the strongest species. Humanity was the most controlled. And that made them the most dangerous of all. The war ended without victory songs. There were no parades in human space. No loud speeches. No flags waving in celebration. There was only quiet work. In the broken lanes near the border, wreckage drifted like dead leaves. Pieces of ships turned slowly, reflecting distant starlight. Rescue lights blinked in the dark. Human recovery teams moved from ship to ship, pulling survivors out, alien survivors. They did not ask if those survivors had come to kill them. They did not shout, "You deserved it." They simply saved who could be saved. A coalition pilot floated inside a cracked cockpit, barely alive. A human rescue hand reached in, cut the metal, and dragged him out. The pilot coughed and whispered, "Why help me?" The human did not answer with pride. He answered with a simple line, "Because you're not the enemy anymore." Across the galaxy, worlds watched these scenes with shock. Many had expected humans to punish them. Many had expected humans to take planets, demand tribute, set themselves as kings. But humans did not move toward conquest. They moved toward cleanup. In the Galactic Council Hall, the seats were full again, but the mood was different. The light felt colder. The golden walls looked less like pride and more like guilt. The Crystal Crown leader was gone. Some said he fled into deep space. Some said he was arrested by his own people. Some said he ended his life when he understood what he had caused. No one was sure, and no one wanted to ask. At the center of the hall stood a new figure. The blue-skinned speaker held the staff again, but his hands trembled slightly. "We call this meeting to order," he said. His voice was quiet now. "The purpose is simple." He looked at the huge screen. "To speak with Earth." The screen turned on. Commander Mara Voss appeared, same simple uniform, same calm face. But now the council did not laugh. Many leaders sat very still. Like animals near a fire they did not control. The blue-skinned speaker bowed his head slightly. It was a gesture rarely used in the council. "Commander Voss," he said, "we request talks." Mara's eyes moved across the hall as if she could see every leader's fear. "You requested talks before," she said. "Then you sent fleets." The blue-skinned speaker swallowed. "Yes." Mara did not raise her voice. She did not accuse them with anger. She only spoke facts. "You crossed our border," she said. "You destroyed what you thought mattered. You tried to force us to show our limits." A Finn leader spoke in a broken voice. "We believed you would take control after." Mara stared at him. "Control," she repeated. Then she shook her head once. "Humans do not want your thrones," she said. "Humans want sleep. Humans want normal days. Humans want children who do not learn fear as a first language." The hall went silent. An insect-like leader asked, "Then why did you build such power?" Mara's face did not change, but her eyes became heavier. "Because of the silent swarm," she said. Many leaders stiffened at that name. Some had never heard it. Some had seen it in the battle feed. Some had only felt the terror in their bones without understanding why. Mara continued, "It came before. It will come again." The blue-skinned speaker leaned forward. "Is it dead?" Mara answered honestly. "That cluster was removed. The swarm itself is not a single body." She paused. "It is a pattern," she said, "a hunger that moves." Whispers filled the hall like cold wind. The old scarred leader stood slowly and stepped forward. His guard followed, but he raised a hand, asking the guard to stay back. He looked up at Mara's image. "Human commander," he said, voice rough, "we made a terrible mistake." Mara watched him. The scarred leader continued, "We are proud beings. We built this council to protect order, but we became lazy. We became cruel. We believed strength was the same as right." He lowered his head. "We laughed at your warning." Mara's eyes stayed steady. "Yes," she said. The scarred leader lifted his face again. "So tell us, what does Earth want now?" The council held its breath. Many expected punishment. Many expected human demands. Mara spoke plainly. "Earth wants one rule," she said. The blue-skinned speaker asked. "What rule?" Mara answered. "Do not force a species into a corner." Some leaders blinked, confused. Mara explained, "The galaxy is full of young worlds," she said. "When you push them, you create monsters. When you crush them, you teach them hatred." Her voice remained simple. "Humans became strong because we were hurt many times," she said, "but we also learned to stop." A leader with glowing eyes whispered, "Stop." Mara nodded. "Restraint," she said. "Limits." Look straight at the council. "You tried to break our limits," she said. "You did not understand that our limits were not weakness." She paused. "They were mercy." The words hit harder than any threat because mercy was something the council had not practiced in a long time. The blue-skinned speaker swallowed. "If we accept this rule, what happens?" Mara answered, "We end the war." A Finn leader asked, trembling, "And if we don't?" Mara's eyes did not harden. They did not glow. They did not change, but the room felt colder anyway. Then she said, "The swarm will return and you will not have time to debate." Silence. The scarred leader spoke again. "You saved us in the battle," he said, "not because we deserved it, but because you understood the real threat." Mara nodded once. "Yes." He asked, "Will Earth lead the council?" Mara's answer was immediate. "No." The council reacted with confusion. The blue-skinned speaker asked, "Why not? You have the strongest fleets." Mara replied, "Because leadership built on fear breaks," she said. "Earth will not be the new tyrant." She paused, then added, "Earth will be the line." The blue-skinned speaker frowned. "The line?" Mara's voice stayed calm. "A line the swarm will not cross," she said. "A line bullies will not cross." The hall felt the meaning of those words. Earth did not want a throne. Earth wanted a duty. A heavy, quiet duty. The scarred leader looked down at the floor and whispered, "A guardian." Mara nodded. "Yes." The council hall was silent for a long moment. Then the blue-skinned speaker raised his staff and said, "We propose a new charter." He looked around, a new rule based on Earth's warning. Leaders exchanged looks. Some were ashamed, some were afraid, some were angry, but all of them remembered the battle. All of them had seen what happened when humans removed limits. And all of them had seen what happened when the silent swarm arrived. Slowly, one leader after another nodded. The charter was written in simple terms so no one could twist it later. Charter Rule 1: No species may invade a developing world without council review and consent. Charter Rule 2: No species may test another species by force to measure it. Charter Rule 3: If an extinction-level threat appears, the Council obeys emergency protocols without pride or delay. Then one more rule was added, not by the Council, by Earth. Mara spoke it clearly. Charter Rule 4: Never mistake restraint for weakness. The blue-skinned speaker repeated it into the record, voice shaking. Never mistake restraint for weakness. The room did not cheer, but something changed. Not peace, not yet, but understanding. On Earth, Mara ended the call and stood in silence. Admiral Reyes joined her. "It's done," he said. Mara stared at the star map. "It's a start," she replied. Outside the command level, Earth looked normal. Blue oceans, white clouds, cities full of small lives, people walking to work, children playing, old people sitting in parks. They did not know how close the galaxy had come to fire. They only knew the sky was still there. Deep in space, human fleets returned to hidden docks. Systems powered down. Weapons slept again. Limits returned, but everyone in the command level knew the truth. Limits could be removed again, not for pride, not for conquest, only when the line was crossed. Far away in the deep dark where even light felt thin, a faint signal moved like a whisper, a pattern, a hunger. The silent swarm was not gone, it was learning, and because it was learning, humans would keep preparing, not because they loved war, because they loved life. In the council hall, the old scarred leader stayed behind after everyone left. He looked at the empty seats and the gold walls. He spoke softly to himself. "We feared humans would become monsters." He breathed out, "But monsters do not save those who try to kill them." He turned away, walking slowly into the hallway, and across the galaxy a new sentence spread through ship crews, officers, and leaders. Not as a joke, not as an insult, as a warning carved into memory. Earth warned the galaxy, "We were holding back. Now never ask us to stop."